Today we got two master vampire hunters going head to head. Blade versus Buffy. Who comes out on top? Let's find out. A human vampire hybrid with all the strengths but none of the weaknesses of a traditional vampire, Blade has dedicated his life to destroying the occult world of vampires and all who associate with them. Due to his mother being bitten by a vampire while she is pregnant with him, Blade displays unique abilities. Can't become a vampire by normal means, but does have a strong thirst for blood. However, rather than actually consuming blood, he injects himself with a specially designed serum that provides the same nourishment. Blade possesses superhuman strength, and while the exact limit isn't necessarily specified, he can lift at least 2 to 5 tons. He's been able to battle against a vampiric Spider-Man, jump hundreds of feet in the air, and easily behead vampires with his bare hands. He has superhuman speed, can easily dodge gunfire, and has an ability called Flash Step, where he moves so fast that it looks like he teleports. Thanks to his vampiric nature, this is a form of immortality. Is incredibly resilient to physical attacks, and has a healing factor similar to Wolverine. Blade is a master martial artist, proficient of essentially every known melee weapon and several different martial art forms. He's easily able to hold his own against multiple enemies, can actually adapt to any fighting style that's being thrown at him, whether the opponent is armed or unarmed. He's a skilled marksman, whether being with automatic or semi-automatic weapons, or even things like throwing knives. Blade is also a master swordsman, and uses a teakwood or adamantium sword. So, that's what we got in one corner, the human vampire, Blade. But, entering the ring, in that corner, well, it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy Summers is the Slayer, a young girl gifted with the heart of a demon, imbuing her with superhuman physical attributes and the skill of her predecessors. It is the Slayer's destiny to seek and destroy all manner of supernatural evil, mainly vampires. When the Slayer dies, a new one is called. Due to Buffy's willingness to maintain some social life with friends and family, Buffy manages to surpass most Slayers in terms of life expectancy, continues to save the world today. Buffy is arguably the most powerful and successful Slayer to have ever existed, and is enhanced with superhuman strength, speed, agility, reflexes, durability, and accelerated healing factor. She's able to battle against and overpower vampires and demons, smash opponents through floors and walls, and he managed to kick a 10-inch steel door and shatter it to pieces. Buffy has routinely meant to dodge bullets and avoid machine gun fire. She's shown she's so fast that she can create aftermages, even pushed Faith out of the way of lightning. She's taken massive explosions, 12,000 volts of electricity, and she's been dogpiled by demon bikers, yet still overpowered them. Buffy's also got a remarkable healing factor, as she's recovered from most all injuries within a day, and sometimes within a few hours, within a few minutes. As with every Slayer, Buffy possesses a natural proficiency with virtually all forms of weaponry and unarmed combat styles. In addition to this, she had years of combat training in order to hone her skills using various martial arts, particularly Jiu-Jitsu and Aikido. Buffy does tend towards a more improvisational approach to fighting, utilizing her emotions and anything in her environment that could help her defeat her enemy. Her insistence to go with the flow during fights was sometimes looked down upon by others who considered her technique too sloppy, but Buffy actually believed that this gave her the upper hand. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, today we got two of the most iconic vampire slayers of all time going head to head. Blade, the powerful half-human, half-vampire, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Who's coming out on top? Well, that's what we gotta find out. And first things first, we need to take a look at physicality. Which one of these two is stronger? Well, let me tell you, being a Slayer, Buffy is impressively strong. She's been able to decapitate a demon with a shard of glass, easily break metal chains, pry through metal with her fingers, and is casually able to bend steel bars. She lifted up a heavy metal gate by herself that 12 other women couldn't, helped lift up massive chunks of rubble, and Buffy definitely has some serious striking power. She knows how to throw a punch. She sent men, demons, and vampires flying backwards with her attacks, even sending them flying through brick walls. She's killed a demon by punching literally into and through his body, and she's even shattered a steel door all to pieces with one good solid kick. On the other hand, Blade's been able to casually rip through chains or snap handcuffs. He ripped apart a were-scorpion, casually tossed vampires even with just one hand, and even threw a knife with so much power that he sent a vampire flying backwards. And that vampire had just been manhandling Spider-Man a few moments earlier. He's cracked a mindless one's skull with just one punch, caused a vampiric Spider-Man to bleed of his attacks, and is casually able to rip off a vampire's head with just one hand. However, I think the most impressive feat has got to be managing to lift up the Reaper over his head. The Reaper is massive, easily the size of a small building. Here's a great example of the size difference between him and Blade. Remember, Blade isn't a small man. Yet Blade is able to take the Reaper and deadlift him up over his head. And this was after having been in a massive airplane crash and enduring a consecutive beatdown from the Reaper. So while their striking power might be similar, Blade is still the stronger one here. She's also got more grappling strength. So about durability. Well, just like with strength, the key part of this fight. And both are impressively durable. Buffy has routinely been punched around by vampires, monsters, robots, and demons, but none the worse for it. She's been hit hard enough to snap a large tree in half and smashed into walls by the vampire god Malcor. Been hit by a speeding car and got right back up afterwards, blasted with 12,000 volts of electricity, and yet survived large explosions that destroyed the house she was in. Buffy also does have a nice healing factor, something that has kept her fighting through days on end, and through numerous injuries, and even allowed her to quickly heal from what otherwise would have been a death sentence, like a sword stab through the liver. In fact, after taking that sword stab, she was back in the midst of the fight only a few minutes later. However, just like Blade is stronger, he's also more durable, and he's got the better healing factor to boot. He's taken extended beatings from super vampires like Dracula and Morbius, who are both a whole lot stronger than Buffy, within the range of 10 to 20 tons. He's taken an airplane crash and been none the worse for wear, consistently survived point-blank explosions, sometimes directly to the face, and like we said, has a real nice healing factor. Just has incredible endurance and pain tolerance too. He's been shot by Punisher, impaled by a sword, and was just fine afterwards. He's had his stomach slashed open and still continued the fight. Has been both impaled and disemboweled, yet survived and actually quickly healed back up. Buffy really doesn't have anything on that, especially those last two feats. So Blade is both stronger and more durable. What about speed? Which one of these two vampire hunters is faster and more agile? Well, in order to even begin to hunt vampires, you've got to have some insanely fast speed and reaction times, considering that vampires are some of the fastest monsters in all of fiction. And Buffy is so fast, you're able to take on multiple vampires at once, even killing 7 vampires in a single sprint. She's able to create after modules while battling against demons, beat up 4 demons in a single maneuver, and is able to repeatedly and casually dodge machine gun fire. She's even dodged gunfire from multiple angles and directions coming at her all at once, even effortlessly fighting through a whole squad of soldiers firing at her. Probably most impressively, Buffy's even able to push Faith out of the way of lightning, which is just insanely impressive and insanely fast. So, flip the script. How fast is Blade? Well, he too's been able to dodge machine gun fire and hold barrages of bullets. But what's more impressive is that he's actually able to block bullets and deflect them instead of just simply jumping out of the way. He also dodged shots from named characters, and insanely accurate ones at that. Like when he dodged incoming shots from Deadpool. He managed to dodge each individual incoming shot as they approached, and it was getting closer and closer to Deadpool all the while. Blade has even beaten Spitfire before in a fight, someone who's a hypersonic speedster. He's able to literally outrun bullets. Well, I'm not sure how he pulled it off. Blade did this. He's also got an ability called Flash Step. He's able to move faster than the eye can follow. In just 1 second he's there, next second he's not, leaving aftermarches in his wake. And again, he's done this against people like Deadpool, who definitely isn't slow. So if all this combined, it's really looking like Blade is physically superior, more powerful here in the fight. However, Buffy has constantly managed to go up against and beat stronger, more powerful opponents throughout her career as a Slayer. How, you might ask? Well, because she was a better and more skilled fighter than them. Slayers like Buffy actually have all the memories and experiences of past Slayers on the subconscious level. And when she, quote unquote, activates them, well, these skills come natural to her, able to tap into them to a degree. So when Buffy went up against Frey, who was stronger than her and had no connection to past Slayers, Buffy was able to overcome her by using her memories of every past Slayer's battle. Basically, she's got fighting skill that spans over thousands of years, all in her head that she can access. Buffy then wanted to hone these skills through several years of strict and intense training under the tutelage of master fighters. And she went on to be so great of a fighter that she was even able to fight against and beat invisible opponents or fight while blindfolded. She's been able to solo groups of vampires and demons just a few seconds, actually routinely hunting down and slaying all sorts of different demons and vampires. And even managed to fight against and beat elder vampires, like the legendary Dracula. Buffy has also fought against and bested other Slayers, including her immediate successor, a Slayer turned vampire, and the very first Slayer, who's much stronger and more vicious than the average Slayer. So, the question is, can Blade compete with that level of skill or even that level of experience, considering that she's got thousands of years of experience to draw upon? Well, yeah, I'm betting he can. I mean, Blade is absolutely no slouch. For starters, he's got a whole lot more practical combat experience, considering he's just been around a whole lot longer, been in a whole lot more fights than Buffy. And he too is routinely will take down large groups of vampires in record time, routinely hunting them down and killing them. But thing is, he's managed to go up against some of the best that the Marvel Universe has to offer, fighting against a vampiric Spider-Man, and they said that he was the best one to hunt down and take on Wolverine. Then, lastly, we're going to talk about the Scythe, which is Blade's adamantium sword. But honestly, don't really see much to explore here, as it kinda seems like a draw. The Scythe is an ancient mystical weapon, one of the most powerful weapons in the world. So I don't think the adamantium sword will be just cut through it. But I also don't think that Buffy's Scythe will be able to cut through the blade in return, because, it's adamantium. And like we said, they're both real skilled fighters. So then their swordplay comes down to a draw too. End of the day, who's coming out on top here? Who's the better vampire slayer? Well, I'm leaning towards Blade. He's stronger, more durable, and has greater endurance, all of which will be keys to the fight. He's got more consistently impressive speed, even though Buffy's lightning feat is insane. And even if Buffy might be the better fighter, that skill difference is ultimately negligible and will be enough to carry her to victory. It'd be a real fun fight, and a real close fight, but Blade is just ultimately coming out on top here. Blade wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, turn on notifications from the DanCo army, and I will see you next time.